half of the 1900s,
Hold on
boxers were bound tightly to the orthodox stance. The bias against southpaws ran deep in the fight game.
It was a bias.
The first
First of
southpaw
all,
heavyweight champion.
hold on. First of all, bro, yeah, they was wearing that, bro. Why was they wearing that, man? Boxing, bro. You did not need to wear that. And why do they hate southpaws though? This nigga got on little ass shorts, man.
Fight game. The first southpaw heavyweight champion didn't come about until the 1990s. For decades,
Damn,
left-handed boxers were converted to fight in the orthodox stance.
Dang.
But long before the sport could catch up to him, Willie Pep was breaking the rules with such success that it had fighters rethinking their strict adherence to conventional technique, only to be told by derisive coaches, "You're no Willie Pep."
You know Willie Pep.
To be fair, not even Willie Pep was Willie Pep. His real name is more Sicilian than a blood vendetta. He was a little guy with a quick wit and a gambling problem. It got him into fights he didn't usually win. It became frequent enough that his old school Sicilian father finally points him to the gym. In the gym, not much changed. He was learning the basics of boxing, but basics don't put pounds on a scale. He was still getting beaten up in sparring, but a little less beaten up every time he sparred. Power wasn't something implicit. All the power he had came from learning how to cause collisions. When he starts taking amateur fights, he isn't getting beaten up anymore. The more he learns, the more he sees the limitations of textbook boxing, starts abandoning some of the basic assumptions of the orthodox technique. He refused to stay in a single stance.
So he was switching stances on him.
Of defensive options, like using the southpaw shoulder roll and unparalleled mobility. He's introduced to a manager who was both great and terrible. The manager took one look at this old country train wreck of a real name and said, "We're just gonna call you Willie Pep," because no 1930s ring announcer, or modern voice actor for that matter, is going to get his real name right on their first or fourth attempt.
So they said, man, we're just gonna call you Willie Pep. Nobody can say your name, you Willie. But y'all definitely requesting him, so we here, Willie Pep. But y'all already know what to do, man. Like, comment, subscribe, and let me know in the comments y'all want to react to next. And look, y'all want to see other boxing reactions? Check my boxing playlist, man.
With Sugar Ray was a learning experience.
Ask this corner guy.
Hey, hold on, what?
Right on their first or fourth attempt. Willie's run-in with Sugar Ray was a learning experience.
With Sugar Ray?
Ask this corner guy. Who's that guy fighting? Willie's fighting you. He's fighting me. The guy was damn near 6 foot tall. So they said, well, Willie, if he was any good, he wouldn't be fighting you. Turns out to be Sugar Ray Robinson. Right, he said,
what?
Keep an eye on your boy. He's gonna go places.
Willie went pro with the 65-3 record.
Was that real footage?
Fighting you. Turns out to be Sugar Ray Robinson. Right, he says, keep an eye on your boy. He's gonna go places.
Willie went pro with the 65-3 record and a better manager. As a pro, Willie is a ghost in a shell. He seemed to float over the floor, unbound by trivialities like friction.
His defense is crazy.
He was there and not there. In reach and untouchable. Willie picked his moments to solidify into a physical form. On the attack, he had a jab that came 4 or 5 at a time. He was beyond competent with an orthodox fighter's toolkit. The stance switch set his opponents up and Willie apart. He casually wins his first 53 fights in a row.
What?
Captures the featherweight title from legendary knockout artist Chalky Wright at
53 and 0.
Age 20. Willie treated his actual fights the way modern fighters treat hard sparring. If you were going to take the damage, you might as well make some money in the process. Between beating Chalky and his first title defense, Willie fought 13 times. He picked up his first loss to former 135-pound champion Sammy Engot, a man he fought mostly out of curiosity in a non-title fight above his championship weight. He won his first 62 fights in less than 3 years.
This
Damn.
don't miss. In the heat of battle, he don't miss. No.
And then he
That's a
the
fight
controversy.
roughly every 18 days.
I beg your pardon?
After his first loss, Willie returns to defend his title at featherweight. Willie won his next 73 fights, which is...
Bro, what? Bro, what the fuck? These was pro fighters he was fighting? Willie Pep. Bruh.
slightly impressive. Even more impressive when you consider in January of 1947, he was involved in a plane crash.
What?
3 people died, and Willie wasn't one of them. It broke his leg and cracked 2 vertebrae. Willie took his first fight back that July.
Do me a favor, please. Get out of here. Get out of here, I'm saying.
He won a 10-round decision. He won 10 fights the same year of the crash. Didn't even bother suing the airline.
Damn.
Do you know how good your defense has to be to survive
Can't touch me.
a plane crash?
Stop
He
it.
takes his first loss
He said, you know how good your defense gotta be to survive. Hey, he being real though. The defense gotta be on 100.
at featherweight to the man who would become his nemesis.
Who that?
Sandy Sadler was a nightmare stylistic
Sandy
matchup
Sadler.
for Willie. First off, look at him. He was the largest 126-pound human being to ever have to deal with the same-day weigh-in. He was wiry as corded steel and blessed with jaw-dropping power. Willie got cornered and KO'd
Sandy
in
Sadler.
4 in the first fight.
Damn, he got KO'd? Sandy Sadler put him down, huh?
The rematch was, by all accounts, the most legendary performance in the storied career of Willie Pep. The third
Willie Pep.
has been called the dirtiest fight of its time. As an embarrassed Sandy Sadler remained in dogged pursuit of an unorthodox genius, prepared to break every rule to prove the chorus of critics he wasn't quite washed up yet.
What happened?
The fight quickly got out of hand as the pair weren't going to let a little thing like rules interrupt a good fist fight.
Them niggas out there
Pep
wrestling.
was lacing in response to constant grabbing for collar ties by Sadler.
Ooh. Sadler throwing them uppercuts in tight though, I ain't gonna lie.
Sadler was throwing rabbit punches back.
To the back of the head, don't start that
Willie
shit.
leads Sandy in an unwilling waltz every time his back hit the ropes, but gets dropped on a leaping left hook. Willie works his magic to see another round. Sandy, shambling, inexorable, possessed of an instinctive drive propelling him forever forward. It's
Yeah, he
like
keeps
watching
keep going
a
forward.
high-level wood elf try to fend off a zombie.
For real, bro. It's like,
Came to an abrupt end when Sadler used the classic boxing technique of wrenching Willie's shoulder from its socket. It's the least technical knockout of all time.
damn.
Pep won 8 more fights to get a 4th fight with a man who proved his stylistic poison.
That boy Sandler had his number.
grabbed the most brilliant mover in boxing by the back of his head and uppercut.
Oh, yeah. That's
Sandy
what he was doing in the
had
other
height
fight.
and reach. His jab alone was enough to contest the distance.
Ooh.
Pep couldn't match his power or raw physical strength on the inside.
Oh, you passed out on. Fucking playing me.
Willie used every bit of veteran savvy, every boxing skill and ability the greatest defensive fighter in history could muster.
That thing ain't the greatest defensive fighter ever? Oh, no. Got good defense, though.
But for Sandy, the fight remained as simple as grab the greatest defensive fighter in history
Oh, you just
by
grab
his
him.
head,
You just grab him.
uppercut him until he falls down.
He said, just grab him, man. They was tangling legs with each other. What the hell? What's going on? They both tired as hell. Look at this shit. Niggas wrestling. Willie Pep wrestling that nigga. Ooh, uppercut him. Ooh.
Willie was called a washed-up old man at 29 years old.
29.
While he was never again a champion, he remained one of the hardest working men in boxing. He remained a threat to the throne, continuing the insane pace
Willie
for
Pep.
most of the 1950s. He continued to put together long win streaks against reasonable opposition, but Willie could feel he was no longer a champion. He finally retires in 1959 when he loses 2 in a row for the first time in his career.
Damn.
After taking the entire Kennedy administration off, he returns to boxing to fund his expensive hobbies. While his gambling was always an issue, the thing he gambled hardest on was women. Willie was divorced
Man.
6 times. All were excellent
Damn.
housekeepers, in that they kept all of his houses. His final record stands at 229 wins.
6 divorces. Damn. That's tough, boy. I ain't gonna lie. That's tough.
Against 11 losses with 1 draw. His legacy can be seen in any boxer abandoning the orthodox for the increased flexibility of the stance switch. His influence gets stronger by the year.
Bum, bum.
He was in the first class of
That's
fighters
crazy.
inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame.
Oh, he was in the first class. Man, that's hard. Nah, that's hard. I ain't gonna lie. He invented that switching stances. That's crazy. Come on, how might I leave back there?
In 1990, of all the men inducted, including Ray Robinson,
Ray Robinson.
Sandy Sadler,
Sandy.
Muhammad Ali,
See, I ain't never heard about Sandy until this vid.
Archie Moore, and Henry Armstrong, it was Willie Pep who won the most fights. Any top pound for pound of all time list without him on it is a joke.
He said, it's a joke. What y'all think about that, though? Y'all think he should be on a pound for pound list? I don't. His defense is fire, though. His defense was like that. I don't think this video showed enough clips or, footage of Willie Pep, though. So I can't really tell for real.
Tyson. He weaves left and steps left as well, or weaves right and steps right. This sets up an angle and loads his return counter with power. This is the normal, some might say natural way that a human being moves. Now here's Pep. Yeah. Pep would crouch the opposite direction that he was moving, making for one of the most confusing situations that fighters have ever had the misfortune to deal with.
That's
One of his
weird.
favorite ways to do this was to crouch as he shuffled his feet together. fluidly pivoting into a southpaw stance. Because Pep crouched to the inside, his opponent aggressively followed him in that direction. Meanwhile, Pep was already stepping outside, letting his competitor fly past him in the wrong direction.
That's hard.
Pep would many times help his opponent out by wrapping his arm around his waist and placing his lead foot on the inside of his. This tactic gave the impression to many of a matador skillfully sidestepping a bull.
Oh, that's different.
Of course, he could do this the opposite way as well, crouching outside while stepping inside. And don't forget, Pep could exit in any direction once he'd finished his crouch as well. What this meant was, not only could Pep step in any direction at any time, he could also do the same with his head, his trunk moving independently from his body. This is the same principle mentioned with footwork, complete freedom of movement. Experienced fighters know that they have another fighter trapped in certain positions. They know that there are a limited number of defenses and attacks possible at any given time. But with Pep, this all went out the window. He could do literally anything at any time.
Pep 101, I can't lie. Willie Pep, let me know in the comments what y'all think though. Let me know what y'all think in the comments though. Like, comment, subscribe, man. I'm seeing y'all in that video. Y'all already know what's going on.